Welcome to the Blueprint in Practice, episode 11, the video series where I show exactly how I implement the blueprint in real life. And if you're not aware, the blueprint is probably the simplest approach to fitness on the internet. It's how I build my physique, a good amount of strength, and elite level cardiovascular fitness training under 1 hour a week, doing only 3 exercises, and having cooked down the nutritional side to 3 simple rules to follow as well. The blueprint is in the description, and it's free to read through if you're interested. So in today's video, it's probably going to be a little longer because I injured myself. I felt a bit of a strain on the inside of my elbow. Something, maybe golfer's elbow, something like that. And I think it comes from doing chin-ups too intensely for too long a time. So up until recently, I've pretty much been training, just pushing to failure in every set. And what I'm gonna do and I think that's why I eventually got this strain on the inside of my arm. So it hurts a little when I flex my biceps, for example. When I do the chin up, it doesn't hurt. But apparently yesterday, it just came out of nowhere pretty much. And that's how injuries come. They just come out of nowhere. Or I don't know if it's an injury necessarily, or if it's just a little thing that hurts for a little while and then it goes away. But moving forward, I may try to really focus on stopping 1 to 2 reps shy of failure. So keep 1 to 2 reps in reserve on all sets, on the chin-ups, the push-ups, and the squats even. You stop 1 or 2 reps shy of failure in the most easy fashion by just stopping when the speed at which you do the exercise slows down dramatically. So in other words, that's typically 1 to 2 reps shy of failure. When you push and it slows down dramatically in the push-up, at that point you want to stop. But you were probably, if you were to go to absolute failure, able to do 1, 2, or 3 reps more, right? And the same applies to the chin-up and the squat. So that's where I'm going to focus on stopping now moving forward. I'm going to keep everything else the same. And I think that's about it. And as an immediate resolution to this little pain I'm feeling, I'm going to take a couple days of training, up to a week maybe, depending on how it feels. You always want to be on the safe side when it comes to injuries, I believe. I've actually never been injured before. I've had pains here and there, but nothing major. So I hope this is just one of those little pains. So it's not untrue what I said in the previous video, that I have actually never been injured, for real. So I'm going to take a couple days off, up to a week off, and then I'm going to decrease the load as well. So I increased the load 2 kilos last week, and I'm going to decrease it 2 kilos again, just when I go back into training, it's a little lighter perhaps. I don't know if that specifically has something to do with it. I doubt it, but you just want to be on the safe side, So I'm going to decrease the load and take some time off, a couple of days up to a week. And that's about it. And then I'm going to stop training to total failure on every set. And I think that'll fix the issue more or less. And training to 1 or 2 reps, keeping 1 to 2 to 3 reps, even more in reserve, is shown in the scientific literature, for what I'm aware, to actually result in the same hypertrophic response and strength gains. So it's not like you miss out on anything on that side. So it's essentially the same, and you fatigue yourself less, so you'll stay fresher for your next session. So if you do 4 to 5 training sessions a week, as I do, you are forced, if you only do 3 circuits per session, to train on days consecutively where you only get 24 hours of rest. I mean, that's not really enough to recover fully. So if you train to failure all the time, right? So if you keep 1 or 2 reps in reserve, you're just bound to stay fresher. And it's not more complicated to progressively overload either. You just try to beat your rep record, but you stop those, when the speed at which you do the exercise slows down dramatically. So over time, you're still going to get stronger because not training to failure doesn't impact your hypertrophy or strength gains. So over time, you're just going to find yourself, before reaching that point, being able to do more reps, you see. So the only thing that's going to happen is that the amount of reps I'll do probably is going to decrease one or two, like immediately, but over time, it's not gonna be that make that big a difference. And it really is the long run you wanna look at, and that's also why I'm playing it conservatively with this injury. Right, I could just go and train today as well. But the problem is that it's probably not going to get better from doing that, right? In my experience, pretty much everything gets worse if you don't, like, all when it comes to injuries, but also anything else. Like if you have a loud neighbor who's playing music, if you don't go and tell him or something, he's probably going to keep playing that music, you see. So if I don't do anything about his injury and I just keep doing what I'm doing, it's probably going to get worse or keep being bad, you see. So be on the safe side. Nutrition is not going to change. And also when it comes to taking a week off of training, that's not going to be impactful at all on my hypertrophy or strength. I believe up to a month, like you can go without training even, without losing that much muscle or strength gains. And even then, when you then come back to training, like you are going to get that strength and hypertrophy gains back very fast. It takes like half the time to get it back that it took to build up, I believe. So let's say you lost a kilo of muscle. Well, that's going to take half the time it took to build that kilo of muscle to gain back because of muscle memory, because you have already built the muscle. Now you just have to build it back. And along with that comes strength, right? So it's not really a problem taking some time off the gym. Also, just occasionally, if you want to, you can take like what they call deload weeks if you want to. Like, I don't know, if you feel a little tired, a little fatigued, over the week's training sessions, how about you take a week off? You don't want to do this all the time, obviously, because you want to stimulate your muscles in order to make them grow and get stronger. But occasionally, like every month, 2 months, 3 months maybe, or once a year, it's up to you. You can take a deload week where you just don't train at all or train like very light. So I don't know, if you're doing weighted calisthenics, weighted chin-ups, push-ups, squats, you just do them with body weight perhaps, and don't go to failure and stuff. Like stay even further from failure than usual. What I was about to say prior was that nutrition is going to stay the same. Like unless you take a like substantial time off, like a month, let's say, you being in a bulk. So if I were to not train and be in a bulk for a month, all that weight I would gain would be fat, right? So I would gain a kilo of fat. But when it's just a week I'm taking off, or even less, it doesn't matter, obviously. So I'm just going to keep nutrition the same. And it's also a good idea to just be in a calorie surplus. I'm obviously bulking at the moment because you then give your body more, like enough nutrients and calories, energy, etc., to actually heal your body. So let's say if you were in a cut, so you were cutting calories, trying to cut your weight, this injury would probably heal slower, you see. So even if I were to be in a cut right now and I got this injury, maybe it would actually be a good idea to, begin eating that maintenance just for a week or something before entering the cut again. And generally in a cut, you just want to train a little less hard than you do in a bulk because you just don't have that in an equivalent amount of energy available to build up new tissue, you see, and get stronger. And yeah, in general, there's going to be I'm going to add or update the blueprint in a major way in about a month's time because I'm currently reading through MASS, so Monthly Applications in Strength Sports, which is like a research review, and that's probably like designed for fitness coaches. And a research review is what you subscribe to if you don't want to read through studies yourself, but have people do it for you. So the scientific literature, you see, all my scientific knowledge comes from stuff like MASS. So I don't look at the studies myself, but I have professionals looking through the studies for me, essentially. I'm reading through their entire backlog at the moment, and I'm almost finished doing that. So I'm going to, and unsurprisingly, the majority of what's laid out in MASS concurs with the blueprint. So you want to do this amount of volume, train this, like have this frequency, train to failure, that's what I believed previously. But apparently you can stay well shy of failure, like up to 5 reps shy of failure. And almost get the same hypertrophic and strength response as going to total failure, and like stay way fresher for your next session. So that's something that's going to be updated, for example. So, you know, you want to stay those 1 to 2 reps shy of failure typically, because staying 5 reps shy of failure is difficult to gauge. So like, when exactly do I have 5 reps left? I can't even do that, but 1 or 2 is quite easy to gauge. You know, when the speed at which you do the exercise slows down dramatically, that's sort of in that ballpark, you see. So stuff like this is going to be updated, like a major update. Like I'm gonna create an entire video on what exactly has changed. Like the primary factors, like the exercises we do, etc., is not going to change, but like the details of it are going to change more than in prior updates, you see. So I think that's sort of the video. It's a bit longer than usual, but that's because more has been happening. But apart from this, I mean, it's just the same as usual. Just train, eat, and sleep, and repeat, you see. If you made it this far, you can subscribe to the channel. I make both these videos, and then I also just make like your average fitness videos where I just lay out my thoughts on the field, you know, what to do, etc., etc. Those are probably a little more friendly to new subscribers or people who are not subscribed. But and this is more so like a concurrent thing I'm doing where I'm vlogging or like, yeah, vlogging, I guess. My logging is probably a more accurate word, my training over time, as it's probably more interesting to subscribers and people who've read through the blueprint, hence the name. And you can also like the video. I believe that helps with the algorithm and pushing it out to more people. And you can comment. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer those questions. I really enjoy answering people's questions, actually. So if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.